Welcome everybody to HKLA's virtual Lacrosse convention for 2021. Today we're going to talk about defending the two-man game in box lacrosse. It will be very basics. We'll start right from the beginning, and I think the beginning lacrosse player and even the offensive lacrosse players need to learn how to defend the two-man game. I think it's one of the most important things in defense in box lacrosse. So what we will do is we'll start out at the whiteboard. We'll draw it up and walk through it and talk through it. And then we'll get out to the floor. We'll walk through it again and we'll talk through it again on the floor with some guided discovery. And then we'll get into some video clips where you can see it happening live. Okay, so I think it's important for us to go through all this basic stuff right now and give everyone an opportunity to learn how to defend probably the most effective plays in box lacrosse. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so here we are at the whiteboard at the HKLA offices, and we're going to walk through the defending the two-man game in box lacrosse. You can see I got my box lacrosse set up here. It's the end of the arena, a little bit of different setup than the field lacrosse that you're used to. So I think the most important thing in defending the two-man game is how to communicate and how to react. Okay, those are the two things that we need to focus on when we're talking about defending the box two-man game. All right, so usually in the box two-man game, what we're going to have is we're going to have an offensive player, somewhere down here. They're going to be a natural lefty based on this, and they're going to be the ball carrier. We'll also have another offensive player here. Now, what happens when the ball comes low is that the defender who is on the ball carrier must keep their belly to the boards. A little bit of alliteration, but we want that defender to be facing the boards. So if this were his toes, he's literally facing the boards. We don't want him turned up floor or down floor. We want him basically concentrating on the ball carrier. The reason being, ball carrier is a threat to score from almost anywhere on the floor in box lacrosse, especially if they're above the goal line. So we really want to be on their hands all the time. And you'll notice I've drawn him a little bit higher than the center of the player. In other words, this defender is overplaying the stick side. Okay, almost playing on this defender's left hip. We want to do that because we do not want that offensive player to get over the top. If they get over the top and into this area, or what we call the heart, then they open up their shooting angle, right? And we want to avoid that. So as a defender, I want to keep the ball carrier in the weak shooting angle. I want to be in on his hands all the time while he's shooting, or driving his body into an area where he cannot get a good, easy shot at my goalie, making my goalie's job much easier. They can stay big in the net, and they can let the ball hit them, right? So I'm going to overplay that stick side, and I'm going to keep my belly to the boards. All right? Now, the second defender that's up here defending the second man, this offensive player is not a threat to score. They don't have the ball. So they can stand in a little bit further in, maybe a stick length back. They don't have to be out on this player. They can be back in a little bit. And the reason is we want them to be triangulating the ball. So in other words, they're going to create a triangle between themselves and the ball and the player that they're defending. Okay, that's the triangle right there. If they get out here too far, then the ball can get in behind their peripheral vision. And that will force them to have to swing their whole head. Okay? So having head on a swivel doesn't mean you actually have to swing your whole head. If you're far enough back, you can literally just use your eyes. So if I'm looking at the camera right now, I can see over there without having to swing my head. I can just use my eyes. Right? So if I'm defending here, I'm in my athletic stance, I'm defending, and they're over there, I can see that now just by quickly looking, using my eyes. and I don't lose my defender in my peripheral vision that's all in front of me with the triangle. If I get out here too far, I'm going to have to swing my whole head to see what's going on down there. And then I cannot be any help to this defender down here, my teammate. I cannot be any help. Okay? So, now what they're going to try and do as an offensive team is they're going to try and cut through the middle. Okay? So this is the second part. We talk about how do we react. Okay? The first things first is we can't let this guy run through the middle easily. We have to try and stop him. Okay? So we can push him back up into this direction. We can push him out into this direction. We can just push him and keep him from getting into the middle. The reason why he wants to get in the middle is because he wants to set his pick coming on the back of this other defender. Right? And we want to stop that. We do not want that to happen. So this is part of how we react to what they're doing, disrupting them. Now, if they do somehow get into the middle, we've got to get to a point with them that when they come to set this pick, the first thing we do is communicate, pick coming, right? And the second thing we do is we drive that pick past where he's trying to set the pick. Okay, so we push him as hard as we can down here or up here. We don't allow that pick to happen. So we communicate and we react. We communicate by saying pick coming, and it's got to be loud because there's a lot of stuff happening, right? So you got to get loud so that your defender knows, because he has to get out on the hands and constantly be on the hands. If he takes a step back, right, that's going to give this guy an opportunity to shoot. So we want to keep him out on the hands, but we still want to know something's happening behind him. Okay? So if I'm driving him down here, I'm going to say pick coming left because I'm pushing him down to the left. Right? This guy, I'm going to shove him down as far as I can to the left. That will allow this defender to take a little bit of a step up top. So now he's going to overplay the stick even more. So definitely this guy cannot go over the top because he now doesn't have any help up here. If that guy got over the top before, there was help. Once my teammate drives this offensive player down here, there's not going to be any help over the top. So now I'm going to overplay the stick even more, and I can open up. I open up so that if this pick does end up happening here, I can see the pick and I can still see the ball. Right? Which means if this defender or this offensive player decides to come underneath, well, we've got this defender to take him, and we've got this defender who now can just take one little step back into the middle and defend this player. Okay? Because he now sees the pick. He knows it's there. As soon as this player leaves, he can step in and go with this player. All right? So it really requires that communication, and it requires that breaking of the pick. Those are two of the biggest things. All right? If eventually the pick does happen, then we've got to get ready to shoot out on the ball, and we've got to get ready to step back, open up, and accept the pick on the inside. All right? So there's a lot of information there. We are going to go out to the floor right now, and we're going to walk through it on the floor. And then I've got a couple of video clips that we can go through, and we can look at how the pros do it. Okay? Stay tuned.
Okay, so here we are. We're talking about defending the two-man game in box lacrosse. We have a ball up at the top. Now, the first thing we need to know is we need to know how to individually defend the ball carrier. All right? So it's really, really important that we do not allow the ball carrier to get over the top. Okay, so what we do is we set up with our belly to the boards. All right, that's a little saying that we have. It's always belly to the boards. And so you see my demonstrator here has his belly towards the boards. And what he's doing is he's overplaying the stick side of the defender. So basically, he's allowing him to have that alley and even allowing him to run down into that gap. That's okay, because it's easy outside shot from there because he's going to be able to quickly get in on his hands. Okay? But we want to deny that ball coming over the top. That's very, very important. Okay? So, that's the first thing. The second thing is, when we're one pass away down here, this defender needs to be a step behind here so that he can see everything in front of him. He can see his partner, he can see the ball, and he can see his mark. This is really, really important for him to be a step back. If he plays out too far, then he has no help in that left through the middle. Whereas if he plays back here, he's automatically helped. So it's a psychological defense where this guy thinks, I can't run through the middle, there's a defender right there. Okay? So that's how we start the setup. That's really, really important. Okay? So the second thing is, when the ball moves, where do we move? Because we like to say that this defender and that defender are like a picket fence. Okay? And if a picket fence ever crosses, that usually means the pickets are broken and your fence is broken. So we don't want to have a broken defense. We don't want them to cross. We want to keep the ball carrier, and the other offensive player on the outside, and the two of us will stay shoulder to shoulder. Okay? So if the ball gets passed down and the pick starts to go down, I want this to break that pick. I don't want him to allow the pick to happen. So he's going to shove that player right into his own hands. So he shoves it right into the ball. Right? That's what we call breaking the pick. And then he gets to come shoulder to shoulder with his defender, partner, and then they can split whichever way the two go. They go that way, they've got it. If they cross, we can step out defensively. Okay? So you can see how that works. That's on what we call the down pick. Now there's a lot of communication that happens there. The ball comes back up to the top. When the ball comes down, when the ball passes down, and he starts to go, he's got to yell, keep coming. We've got to break that pick. Okay, we've got to break it. You can see the bottom defender has opened up. So he's opened up to receive the pick. So he doesn't get the pick on his side and get pushed away. If he's opened up, he can have the pick in front of him. Okay? And then you see the second defender shoots out at the ball hard, not allowing him to get over the top. Okay? So we're going to walk through that one more time on the down kick. Let's walk through that. One more time on the down kick. All right? Go. Good. Great. That's good stuff. So now, what do we do if the ball comes up and there's an up kick? Well, it's essentially the same thing, just in a different direction. So let's see the ball come up. All right, if you're coming, when you hear that, don't allow that kick to happen. Perfect. Now you see right where they are. We've got our picket fence, it's maintained, it's not broken because they haven't crossed. The ball carrier, the kicker, everything is outside of us. Right, so that really shuts down their offense if we can play with everything outside of us. Okay, so let's just run through that 4 times. This time I want to hear you guys on D. All right, go. That's all I want. Good. That's great stuff. That's great stuff right there. You can see what they're doing. There's a lot of talk in there. That's good.
Okay, so let's watch some defense by Hong Kong here at the World Indoor Lacrosse Championship against Scotland. You're going to see the offensive player here get the ball, and a pick is going to be set by the top man. However, the pick is broken perfectly by number 13 from Hong Kong. Wing does a great job of breaking the pick, which basically keeps the ball carrier and the picker in front of both of the defenders. So let's roll it and see what happens.
Scotland with possession. Deep in Hong Kong territory, right corner, sent out to the right point for Trevor Jackson. Jackson moving in around bodies. Playing it back there, Jackson for Mon.
Okay, so they've swung it across here. And now 13 from Scotland is going to swing it down and try and set a pick. You'll see number 13 right here with the ball. He's going to swing it down low, and he's going to try and set a pick. But the defender up top here, number 13, he defends it really well and breaks the pick. So let's take a look at
Sending
that.
it across the floor left side. Mottram trying to move
There, you just saw how easy that was. You just saw how easy that was by breaking the pick. They kept it, everything in front of them, and then they basically exploded the entire two-man game. So we'll watch it one more time. We've got 13 with the ball. He's going to swing it down here to this man, but the defender here is going to push him basically in front of the defender who's on ball. So we'll watch it one more time. Obviously with box, you see it happens very, very quickly. So let's watch it, and maybe I can slow it down for you for a sec here. Let me slow it down to half speed. Okay, here we go. Let's try it now.
Sending it across.
Ball goes down. He breaks that pick, and you see him shooting out on the ball right away. And they actually end up dropping the ball. So it's perfect. That's just great defense right there. Okay, so let's watch how Canada defends the Iroquois on a pick and roll. Iroquois are coming on the floor here. They're going to get the ball over to the right side of the floor where the righties are, and they're going to attempt to set a pick coming straight out of the middle of the floor. You'll see the defender actually pushes the picker directly at his own teammate, but because they've communicated, his teammate turns, opens up, takes a little step back, and the pick ends up being right in front of him. So let's run that through right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Another 2-goal run by Canada after the teams exchanged 2-goal runs.
Jamison back on. He's got that candy cane tape job on his shop. Now
all right, you saw it. You just saw it right there. You know, I'm going to go back and we're going to watch it one more time. And what I'm going to do is I'll slow it down for you so that we can take a good look at it in slow motion. But what's going to happen is you're going to see Jackson here is going to fire the ball out to Thompson, and his teammate here is going to try and come out and set a pick directly on the back of the defender out here. But you'll notice what happens when he does that. This defender shoves him straight forward and basically tells his teammate to step back. And you'll see that they actually end up keeping both of the offensive players and including the ball, everybody to the outside of them. So let's go through it here. So there's the swing pass. And you see the pick coming out, and that little shove that he gives him right there, you see that and the step back, you see how that all worked, right? So there's that little shove, and here it is, because his teammate had stepped back, and that shove broke the pick, kept the pick, and now you'll see both of the players, the defenders, are shoulder to shoulder, keeping the ball carrier and the picker all to the outside from the goaltender. So again, this is just, it's a simple concept. It's hard work. It's hard to do. But if you can master that art of picking, of breaking that pick, I really think your defense will be much stronger in the long run. So that's really the things that we're trying to focus on when we focus on defending the two-man game, is communicate, and break the pick all the time. So there you have it. A simple concept about communicating with your teammates, where the pick is coming, when the pick is coming, and then making sure we try and break that pick, not allow that pick to happen. Those are the two key concepts when defending box lacrosse, a two-man game that happens in box lacrosse. Of course, there are a lot of variables that we can add to and from that if they try and do a repick. There's all sorts of different things that we could talk about, but the starting point and the basic defensive fundamentals are: how do we overplay that stick of the ball carrier? How do we force him down to help? How do we communicate that a pick is coming and where it's coming to? And then how do we break that pick? Right? That's the fundamental stuff. So all of that said, it's the basis of all box lacrosse defense. And it happens all over the floor, on either side, strong side, weak side. And of course, that's another topic for another day. But I want to thank everyone for coming and watching today. We've got more great content. If you want to check out some of the content, there's going to be a QR code coming up, which will take you directly to our YouTube page, and you can see even more of the content that we've got. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.